Hello everyone, welcome to the first tutorial that will be on this channel. As you can see from the title, we're making like a boom bap jazz rap sort of beat. So, first step, we're going to find a nice tempo, right? Now, for this, anywhere between like 80 and 100 BPM is going to work pretty well. And you could probably even do it a little slower or a little faster than that. That range is probably just a guideline, and take it with a grain of salt anyway. So I'm just going to tap. Okay, we'll go with about 84. Okay, so what you want to do is whatever drums you have. I have a few boom bap kits here. So I'm going to go for, I guess we'll go for this one. We're going to get we'll do a kick first. Let's just say, let's see. That's got a nice thumpy low end to it. So we'll put that in. We'll put that in channel 1. Let's see if we can find another one to layer it with. This one's got a nice sort of saturation to it. So we'll put that... What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in the second channel. And then I'm going to sort of EQ the bass out of it. And the other one, I'm sort of going to do the inverse. I'm going to EQ the high out and sort of boost the bass. I'm just going to make this band a little wider. And then we can layer them together. And we can select, we can hold on Shift Control and select both channels, right? Then we can merge them to, we can say route both to channel 20, so we can mix the kicks together, so it has a uniform mixing just with the separation of that. I'm also going to turn them both into mono slightly so that it stays sort of in the center of the mix, because low tones are good for that. So as you can see, this has only got the high end bit, and this has only really got that low end. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our first kick pattern. We'll go So a few things with boom bap drums for the kick. Often you want to have this little boom boom thing. Lower the velocity on the first one. And often you can do a little delayed thing where instead of on, on beat, you have the quarter note off, right? So instead of, an eighth notes off, you have it here instead of here. That's a good trick that a lot of boom bap producers have used. And you also want to turn some level of swing on a lot of the time. So I'm going to go Control C, Control V onto, so we have a layered kick now. So I'm going to mix it. There we go. Okay. Now we can find a hi-hat, a closed hi-hat. That's a pretty good one. We can start with that. So I'm going to change the tone a little bit. I'm going to pitch it down 1 semitone, 100 cents. I'm going to turn the cut off so it continues into itself instead of cutting itself. I'm also going to turn this one. This one shapes the tone a little bit. We'll go about 30% lower. So you can hear how that really changes the tone. So that really has that boom bap sort of vibe to it now. So we're going to find a snare. That works, this one. So we can add that. I'll go add every 8, or we'll go advanced, and we'll set it to every 8, but then we'll offset it so it's on the red one. So the 2 and the 4. So here we have. We have a nice drum loop now. Next we're going to do some chords on keys, right? So with this sort of genre. You can use any keyboard sound, right? So you could use organ, you could use electric piano, you could use sort of upright piano or a grand piano. For this, I'm going to go into Analog Lab 5, which I have the free version, the demo version. It's still very, very good. We'll go for electric piano. It's fine. I think Clean Mark 5 really works well because it's a nice generic one. The other ones have a bit of tone to them. This one, I'll turn the timbre down a little bit. And we can also turn the timbre down when we mix it a little by EQing the high from it. We'll go, so what we want to do is we want to go for some jazzy sort of chords, right? And rhythm. So I'm going to put in a nice D major 7. And we're going to also add a little crunchy note here. This C sharp, right there. And we'll put a D in the bass. So we have, it has a nice little dissonance to it, a little crunchiness. It doesn't sound super resolved. So then we go to like, let's go A major. Or we'll go, yeah, A major, 7. We'll go. So it nicely resolves. And then we'll go back to the crunchy chord. I'll call it the crunchy chord, just so it's sort of, because it's a fitting description of it. And we'll go to this nice B major, B major 7. We'll go for that. And we can just sort of add crunchy note to the bass of it too. Now randomize and just hit levels, turn off the pattern. We don't want that. We want to keep what we have. And we just want to randomize the velocity a little bit. And make sure it's bipolar so it moves it up and down. It can increase the velocity up and down, not just down. We're going to just strum it so it sort of makes the notes slightly more humanized. Then we're going to consolidate this track. So we turn it from a pattern to an actual like sound file. Because Analog Lab demo has, I think, a 30-minute timer on it, so we want to get that out of the way. And never mind. I was trying to paste the chords back in for reference, but seems like I forgot to copy them. Okay, we're gonna just cut this area, and this sort of mid area will boost a little bit, and bring everything down this end. And with this, we'll do the same thing. We'll turn this down, maybe 40%, give it a harsher treatment. And then we're going to pitch it down 100 cents. Just to give it that sampled feel, so it feels more sort of processed and sampled and altered. So we can just put this in as a very generic pattern. So let's mix the snare. So I'm going to go just the default EQ. I'm just going to boost in this area. Very specifically here, around the 3000 Hertz. So as you can hear, that's a very boxy frequency in this area. We're going to lower that. And to make up for that, we'll boost the low mid. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add reverb. The really high bass content. And we're just going to leave it in the mix slightly. And then this is a very good free reverb plugin, Analog Obsessions Room 041. And it also changes the tone a little bit. So that's nice. The hi-hat, what I'm going to do for the hi-hat actually is I'm going to select its pattern. And I'm also going to randomize the velocity of it. And then I'm just going to use a compressor. We'll go like 90% probably. And the threshold, just so it adds some more dynamics to that. One other thing we can do is with the lower kick, we can add some saturation. This is a really good free saturator plugin. And this one, we can put it in a multi-band compressor. So we can boost the bass that doesn't really exist if we want to. And I'm going to turn the gain on the high band up. So if you go too high, it has a little fuzziness, but we'll turn it a bit down. So that adds a bit more thump to the kick. Next we need a bass, right? So one way to do it is you could use a bass plugin. I'm not going to go for live bass. I'm going to try to replicate a sampled bass. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to just use a sample pack. Bass sounds here. I think this one's pretty good to use because it's not too long and it's not too short. It should be pretty versatile. I'm going to normalize it just so the level's nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'll put that in a new mixer channel. We can just program it. So if you remember, we started on a D. It was a D chord at the start. The crunchy chord. But we pitched it down. So we're going to start one down from it, one semitone. So we'll go, and then we'll stick to the sort of offbeat pattern. So it's on, then it's off, like that. But then at the end, we'll do a little sort of passing note. We can bring it up. Like this. Fairly simple. We'll keep it at this volume, but really what we're going to do is we're going to just cut down all this noticeable sort of area of it, just so it's really in that sub area, so you can really feel it through if you have a subwoofer or if you have very good bass in your speakers. So we'll make an intro pattern as well. So what we'll do in the intro is we'll have the drums come in. We'll start with just the low thumpy kick, and we might give it a different pattern. We might have it go like and we can have like a sort of false hi-hat part, like it sounds like it's trying to start but it can't, and then we'll have just a sort of snare on its own that just comes in that we can use at the end of the pattern. So I'll put it for the second half, right? We can go, here's the chords. I accidentally put the false start twice. So this is probably when the rapping would come in over it. So what we can do is we can also add some sort of atmospheric sounds. We can go here. I believe this is from Cymatics, yeah. They have some very cool sound kits. This one has some nice vinyl noise. Vinyl crackling. So what I'll do is I'll chuck some in just to fill the pattern. So that'll add some atmosphere. We'll put that in a new channel. We'll turn it down a little bit. So it's already starting to take shape. Now we want to add some more sort of melodic sounding instruments. So I'll just add... Let's see if Decent Sampler wants to work today. Some days it just doesn't work for me. Okay, so now it is back. I don't know, it's giving me ads for other products, but yes, good. I do have the saxophone. That is good. So it has a lot of reverb, and we'll turn the tone down a bit. We can add our own reverb and our own tone later. Just remember, I have that there, so I've got to put this in 8, the channel. So we'll start sort of just below where our chord is. And if you guys don't know too much music theory, that's fine. What we'll do is we'll stick notes that are pretty close together. But see how it... I don't know if you have yours set to tools here. I think it's in tools. Is it? Actually, I have no idea where it is. There's some option somewhere that makes it so it highlights your grid based off what scale you're working within. I have no idea where the setting is. But if you have that turned on, try to skip the blacked out or the darker lines. So we'll go. That actually sounds pretty cool, just with these sort of neighboring notes. And then we'll go like here for a little longer note to end that lick, and then we'll have a ascending one that sort of alternates up and down like that. Those last two I don't really like. We can have sort of a mimic of the opening riff coming down. Like that. But what I'll do is, so it doesn't bounce back into the start, I'll move it across a little bit. We can go like that. And now we'll randomize the velocity. Might make it slightly less strong. I'll turn bipolar off, just so we can bring it down. And then I'll articulate the end so it has more variation. And then what I'll do to mix this is we can sort of cut this bit, make it thinner so it sounds more sampled. Add a little bit of reverb, and some of this reverb too, with a slightly shorter decay. We'll mix the wet down a little on both of them. And then we can chuck some saturation as well. I reckon warm is probably the one for this, but I'll turn whatever the stages are. I don't even know what the stage means. But we can sort of pan it one ear too, as well, to one side. So, another embellishment, that's what I'll call this. We can add into boom bap beats, we can do something like a glockenspiel, if you have one, like any instrument that has one. I don't know, Flex might have one. It might not sound very good, but let's see. Glockenspiel. It doesn't really sound that good. Nope. That sounds horrible. Let's see if they have any in the instruments here. I mean, we could probably make like a really high electric piano sound like one. At that end, yeah. Let's go like up to this octave, because it really does sound like a glockenspiel. We can sort of copy that. We can sort of copy that melody sort of style with the notes next to each other from the saxophone. And we can have this sort of oscillating pattern thing. Oh, that one's actually out of the thing. We'll go lower there. And we can do the same randomizing. I'll change the seed. We can do that. And then in the settings here, we can even cut that off a little. And then just remove everything up to this real high end. That sounds pretty good. What else can we do? This vinyl tool is actually pretty good. We can put some heavy warping on it and wear. So we'll mix it first actually. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use the ozone imager. This is really good for looking at the stereo of your song. So it shows where it is in the space. What we'll do is we'll stereoize. We'll actually turn it down, which is the opposite of what you'd normally use this, to keep it more mono. So it's more confined to the mid, maybe not quite that much. So it's because that is how a lot of the 80s and 90s songs were. So we'll actually cut the very, very low bit, but then we'll boost it just before. We can just make some very minor adjustments at the ends. I know this might make some people angry the way I've mixed it there, but we'll also make another one first, and we'll use just one of these default little cut ones. So if I bring it to here, you can really hear what that does to it. And what we'll actually do with this is this here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do an automation clip, so we can actually play around with this EQ in the song, which some songs from this era we're trying to replicate would probably do. So we can have something like that. There you go, guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you want more tutorials or more details or have any questions, let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe. If you liked the editing, this is probably going to take me a long time to edit afterwards, so I hope you guys enjoyed. These are all free plugins and sample packs too, so if you want the links to any of them, let me know and I'll find them for you. And yeah, have a great day. God bless.